Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ignacio Garcia, and here with my colleagues from a market research company called Lydia. And today we're going to do a market research that the public transport system of Madrid has asked us, because we're about to introduce a new product, and we want to know what do you think about it. So the blank pages you have in your tables are just for you to include basic information: name, age, what are you studying, and just basic information we need for us to build a base. And you can do that later, and then we're going to begin with the questions. So first of all, what do you think about the public transport? When do you use it? And please don't hesitate to interact with each other.
Okay, from my point of view, I think it's very efficient, but in several hours. For instance, in the morning, it's easy to take the metro, and at the night it's more difficult because there are a spread of time between train and train. But I think it's efficient.
I think that now with some employees have been fired, and the frequency with which the trains are coming to each station has been reduced. So that is quite frustrating from my point of view.
Okay, but just a quick answer. Do you normally take the public transport, or you take the car from in the normal use of it?
I take it, the public transport, every day.
I used to take it.
Yeah.
Well, in my case, I normally use my car.
Yeah, me too.
So
Me too, but when I have to go to the center of Madrid,
yeah,
or
at
maybe
night,
I want to go out at night.
So the typical uses you apply to the public transport, or which are these uses?
Well, when I have to go to the center of Madrid, or when at night when I go out to a party or something, that's the only moment that I take public transport.
And for you, it would be university and
Yeah, the university, and every move in the center of Madrid I do it by public transport.
And overall, as a mind, when using the public transport, do you find it in terms of price and cost profitable for you?
Well, no,
More or less.
not
I
as
mean-
much as they can do it, because for example, for us, we are students, so they may have the possibility to not increase the prices for us, because we are the person that use it more than every people in Madrid. So for me, it's expensive.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for me, for example, due to the members of my family, we are a lot, so I have really good special discounts. So for me, it's quite efficient or profitable to use
So in terms of subsidies to big families, it's very profitable for you. Okay, and and about these complaints you have, how would you improve the system?
I think it's quite boring when you are in the public transport. So I think, for example, I've been in Brussels, and in the subway, they have like a radio system, and they listen music in the subway. So to make the travel.
But here in Madrid, we have all the metro system have TVs in all the.
Yeah.
But apart from leisure and the actual trip in the public transport, about what we said earlier about the price and the cost, would you do something? Would you offer something different, or maybe include any kind of fee that would reduce the cost for you?
I think
Well,
it's
of
very
course.
difficult, yeah.
But something that would be doable.
Maybe
If you pay the, I'm sorry.
no. I was just going to say that maybe give some kind of special price to a person that uses a lot, or in terms of the number of trips you take in the public transport, you give them like a premium or some extra trips that she or he doesn't have to pay, or something like that.
Yeah.
You can do the special price for the students that are going to be here for example, September to May. They can pay it all in one pay, so it's much more that to
Profitable, yeah.
profitable for us, for the students that can be here.
Or maybe that one ticket can be used for the whole day, or
Yeah.
because sometimes I have to make a small trip, like
Yeah.
a
That's a
small
good point.
distance, and I have to pay, like if I'm going to
Yeah, you
I
just
don't
buy
know.
a 10 trips ticket,
Yeah.
and you are going to spend the whole day traveling from one point of Madrid to each other.
Oh, this is very interesting because a few years ago in Madrid the public transport changed and they put like you pay differently if you go to one place or another, but from up to 5 stations you pay the same.
Yeah.
So you actually think that the inclusion of this new measure is not being efficient at all?
No,
No.
I don't agree.
And I think all the people try to not do it. I mean, if I have to stop in one line and then take other, I'm not going to pay the difference because it's more or less €1 or 70 cents more or less, and I'm not going to pay it.
I think that
Yeah.
in that prices, in that single trip prices, it's clear that the relation quality price is not working at all.
Yeah.
Alright, so after describing the situation of the public transport, if you could please pass this one down. There's here a sentence that says the actual form of paying in public transport is, and you have to actually complete the sentence or either give it 3 adjectives to describe the actual situation of a public transport in terms of paying.
But I got a question.
Yes.
What do you mean by paying? Just by the
Like,
quantity or the way you
In
have
terms
to
of
pay?
what we talked about, like the fees and the
Okay,
costs, and you
perfect,
think
that's
it's
good.
unfair maybe.
We describe it?
Yeah,
or
you know,
propose
what do you
something,
think
or-
about it?
Oh, okay. The second one too, or?
You can keep it and you'll give it to me later with a basic information form. Well done. Alright, so we've already described the actual situation and now we're going about to introduce our product. And first of all, do you know the inclusion of magnetic cards they're introducing right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
And what do you think about them? Do you think it's better, it's the same
Sometimes
Much
it's
more
not
better.
efficient.
in terms of
Electronic.
time, of
In terms of electronic quality, I mean, you sometimes put your card into the reader and it doesn't work, so people spend and waste a lot of his time just going to change it or just asking for open the door
Yeah.
to access the metro.
And I also think there is a problem with the way of charging the card because there is a specific day. So you imagine the 18th of every month you have to pay with the abono. You have to pay the 1st of every month.
Yeah.
People try to always forget about it. So maybe you are in the metro and you want to pass it and it doesn't work because you haven't paid.
it's some kind of a procrastination in terms of paying. Alright, so our product is a little bit different. It's been already included in other countries. And would you imagine this magnetic card? And it's kind of related with the new measure the public transport system took. Like you pay for the places you go, but this is different. What would you think about a system that is linked to your credit card and you pay for wherever you go? Not in terms like from up to 5 stations you pay the same. If you go from, for example, from Puerta del Sol to Retiro, you pay, for example, let's say 50 cents. And if you go to the next station, it's 55 cents. What do you think about it? I don't know if you took the idea of it.
Yes, but how do you control
No, I
No,
can
you
see the
pay.
point.
It's like the magnetic card. You pass the card when you enter the,
Yeah.
for example, the underground, and when you exit, you pass it too. So the card knows when you did
Ah,
get
okay.
on and when you got off.
And the prices
And what's the
below
difference?
The price would be lower in terms of saying that you're paying for the actual distance you are traveling. Do you think this is doable? This is
Yes.
something that will improve the system?
Completely, for example, in London, works perfect.
And for example, with the Oyster card, right?
Yes.
So we're trying to know, as a market researchers, if this is doable in Spain. If we can include an Oyster card. I don't know if you guys know the Oyster card from London.
No.
It's a card that is linked to your credit card, and you pay for when you get on the public transport. It's either train, underground, or bus. You pass the card, and when you get off, you pass it again, and then the card knows when the distance you travel. So you're just paying for that. It's like an electronic wallet.
Yes, in my opinion, it's very useful because you don't have to waste time charging your card before taking a train. So it's
Yeah, and
it's
for
faster,
example,
and for the people like her that take the car every day and only 2 days a week, they take the metro to go to the center. It's very useful.
So you think it would advantage the people that use the public transport not so much?
not maybe because, for example, you've just bought the current card, and maybe you spend 2 weeks ill without being able to take the public transport, and the half of what you've paid for the card just have gone. But with the Oyster card or with the method you are proposing, that wouldn't happen because you are paying for what you are actually
Yes.
traveling.
And also about some basic terms of the card that it's also related to the Oyster card. In the Oyster card, for example, you have to pay a fee of, I think it's £15, somehow around 18 euros, just as a fee to use the card. And when you want to give it again away and you don't want to use it anymore, those 18 euros are given to you again. Would you agree with this?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know why.
It's
So
it's just
why
an
do you have
insurance
to
for you
pay?
not to.
To lose.
To lose.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay,
Card.
okay. Yes.
Would you be able
I
to
think it
pay
will
this?
work, Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you think about the fact that the card could be linked to your credit card or your credit account?
Well, if it's a safe method,
Yes.
it doesn't have any problem. For example, it can charge you something that you don't travel or.
Moreover, nowadays I think a lot of people have 2 different credit cards,
Yeah.
and one is for paying those kinds of things. So I think there's no problem.
All right. So now
It's also more simpler at the end. It's more simpler because you don't have to take your wallet out, count the
Yeah,
coins.
yeah.
It's very
It's faster.
all right. So now we're about to do another exercise. You can close this table. So you see in these cards that you have 6 ways of moving around the city. One is the bus, one is the metro, then Renfe, the taxi, the bikes that are around Madrid. You can go and bike around. And then the AVE. And you see that next to taxi and AVE there is a percentage sign. So out of these 6, talking about the percentage sign, it would be that for the card you would get a discount of a taxi and the AVE. Okay. So out of these 6 systems, you have to choose 4 that the card would cover. If you had to choose 4 out of the 6, which one would be? You have to
Taking
circle
into account
them.
the taxi and AVE.
What? Excuse me?
Taking into account the taxi and AVE.
Yeah, if you had the card and you were to decide which 4
Out of these 6.
ways would I choose for me to pay with the card, which one would be? We're done?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you could go please one by one, giving me the opinion you have on this product.
Okay, I've chosen bus, metro, railway, and taxi.
Right, and
Why? Because the other 2 I don't use it at all. So
Choose bus, metro, Renfe, and AVE. because the bus and the metro I use it every day. The Renfe more or less in the 2 days a week, and the other because I'm from Malaga, so it's very useful for me.
Yeah, we do more or less the same. Metro and Renfe, I use them every day to come here. Then taxi, I choose taxi because at 4 o'clock in the morning, if you want to go home,
Yeah.
you need to take a taxi or a bus, but you are tired and taxi is better. And then AVE because I'm from Córdoba, so I use it quite well.
Okay.
In my case, I choose bus, metro, Renfe, and taxi. Taxi because at night you don't have the metro and Renfe available, and bus there are few buses that go to my house, so the taxis are okay.
And I've chosen bus, metro, Renfe, and AVE, the third ones because I use it every day. And the AVE because the taxi and the bike I don't use it at all because I live in the center of Madrid. So and the AVE because well, for holidays and things like that.
Alright, so just to end, to give you a bit of information if you want to be interested in it. This card we'll try to personalize it depending on your expenditure. For example, if you live abroad from Madrid, you could have discounts on AVE, and another important aspect of it is what you said earlier, that if you use a lot the transport, it is rewarded because you gain points and you get discounts. So that would be all, and if you could put your basic information in the papers, and also if you would be willing to keep being informed about this product, and thank you very much.